What's up? How's it going, everybody, today? Back again. I know in a lot of my videos I've been pretty much sticking with the the M4 plus that 1911 I had, and I've referenced this rifle a lot. I think in one of my previous videos I said that I've had this for about 4 or 5 years. I've actually had this rifle since like 2016. I actually thought at the time that it was a Gen 2 GHK G5. Apparently it's probably a Gen 1 because all the magazines that I did apparently get for it, I just found out recently doing the feed lip swap that they were Gen 1 mags, not Gen 2 mags. Overall, the weapon has been great. I've had it a long time. I don't even know how many BBs I've had through this. If you're kind of interested in the gas blowback, the one thing about it is light. Everything on it is polymer. Some people would say that's cheap. They want the kind of more realistic metal body on their airsoft guns. I think when I bought this originally, I think it was under $300, so back in the day, it was a good option. Originally, it did have a side folding stock. I changed it out for an M4 stock. I've had different grips. It will take regular AR-15 grips. What else is it? You know, it's got semi-auto and full. I just got a cheap red dot on here. All this was like really early days, kind of initially getting into airsoft, where I wanted something that had gas blowback. Both my kids, I think one of them had a King Arms AEG M4, and my other son had some sort of all-metal AEG AK-47. They were both great guns, and honestly playing, my boys liked it because you could get the high cap mags. They didn't have to worry about reloading, they didn't have to worry about anything. You just charge the battery and you could shoot it. I was always kind of more into the realism aspect of it. As you can see, if you're unfamiliar with this brand or this rifle, it kind of has a M4 style main body, and then the rest of it kind of, I've heard it compared to a Scorpion. It does kind of have the H&K style slapper that you can do. It does have last round lock back, so if you're firing, it will lock back the last round, and then like a AR-15, it does have a mag release. Most of the time though, even if it locks it back, as soon as you pull the mag out, the bolt falls forward. It's definitely not made as well as a lot of other stuff. It's kind of a good mix between a M4 and AK and other things. You're better off chalking it each and every time than trying to do some mag stop or some other stuff. It was very short. It didn't have the fake suppressor on here when I first got it. It was a very short, like little carbine or SMG. As you can see, I do have an aftermarket barrel. This one's a cheap Angel barrel. It's a 6.01 barrel. It's 363 millimeter long. Originally, it just had this little thing. The stock barrel ended there. So when the stock is very short, I started trying to get it to be more accurate to where I could kind of play at longer ranges. But it is a very light rifle. It's been very reliable so far since I've had it. Another thing that these weapons did do when you got them is it would crack this lower receiver. Right here where it comes down, it's kind of thin. In that area, there's, I think, a European company that sells some aluminum upgrade kits for it to reinforce the part. All I did was pop this open like you would a AR-15. It folds forward, and I just laid down high strength epoxy. If you go on Reddit or other stuff like that, you can look it up. It's a common mod for the G5s. They do crack the receivers. These receivers are pretty cheap. Even if it were to break, like I said, I've had a lot of rounds through it, but I epoxied it pretty much as soon as I got it, and have never had a problem. Another reason I heard they cracked is if you did have the older folding rear stock. If you had the stock folded over, since there was nothing bracing it back here, kind of in this area, if you have it up to your shoulder and you're pressing forward, as that bolt cycles, if you have the receiver, if you're firing it like this, the bolt hitting it could, I guess, cause more damage. So I always read when I first got this, always have the stock out, always have it kind of shouldered, don't do this with it or it could crack the receiver. I personally, like I said, I've had this thing, I epoxied it right when I got it, just to make sure future reliability would be good. But the controls are AR-15 M4 style controls. This is different, it doesn't have a charging handle back here. It has the kind of slide flap, which you can switch it if you want to switch it this side. Times I've kind of thought about switching it just so I can do that, but nowadays all I do is I put it in there, I just turn it sideways, or if you're kind of like the AK guy, I guess you could kind of do it that way. Another thing, the charging handles are plastic, and I guess if you do the typical HK slap and slap them down, they're prone to breaking. This is the original charging handle I've had on this. I've had it on there for, I guess, closer to 10 years now. But even if I lock it back, I always make an effort to pull it back and let it go forward. I'm usually pretty good about it. Even when I was trying to do stuff in the heat of the moment, I always made sure I was gentle with it. If you're really worried about, there are companies that sell metal charging handles for it. I've never needed it, I've never broke it. I'm not over here just slamming my stuff around, so I've never had an issue with it. But overall, I've had it a really long time. I've enjoyed it. I've upgraded, like I said, I got barrel and hop up and bucking, and then I've epoxied the inside. I do have a couple different nozzles in here, or I bought a couple different nozzles. I know one time I did go to an indoor field. They had some really low feet per second range, so I think I bought a low power nozzle, and I also bought a high power nozzle. I'm not sure how hot this one shoots. Currently it does have the high power nozzle in it. One thing I have noticed compared to the other one is it definitely, just even sound wise, it's very, very loud compared to the other one. So I don't know if it's just the way the gas system is and everything in this compared to the M4, but I hadn't shot this for a very long time, and then just comparing the two, I was just like, wow. It doesn't kick as much as the M4. The bolt is a lot lighter than the M4 is, but comparatively, it is loud. And I'm pretty sure these things are probably screaming out of here at pretty hot. I'm guessing probably 400, maybe faster. It does have the longer barrel, so with the full length barrel and the higher rated nozzle in here, and I'm sure the better hop up and everything, it cooks some BBs out. These are currently 0.25 gram BBs. I do have some 0.32s. The 0.25 I can usually get at Academy or something like that, so I run those just to, they're cheaper when I'm not worried about it as much. But this thing cooks. It definitely cooks. I've had it for years, and I honestly didn't need another airsoft gun after having this. I've gotten all the kinks lined out with it. It works really well. If you're just getting an airsoft, I think these are still relatively cheap compared to some of the other gas blowbacks you can buy. And I've had 10 plus years with this, and like I said, I've tweaked a little stuff, but it was over time. But even factory, I just always thought it was really cool. I've always been good with it, even when it had the short barrel on it. It was a nice little kind of rifle. It probably didn't have the range it has now, but it's just been overall a really good rifle. I just don't shoot it as much, especially after getting that new one. That new one's so nice. Everything feels like a real firearm. I enjoy coming out here and practicing with it. But it's not because this one's bad. This one has definitely been a really solid airsoft gun, especially if you're looking into doing something gas blowback. The controls, like I said, I enjoy AR controls better than AKs. Typically, if I'm going to use a real firearm, or when I actually do use real firearms, it's going to be an M4 based platform. So, but it's still overall really great. If you're kind of on the fence about it and you're looking for a gas Bowblack, this, like I said, this has been, it has been just a fantastic rifle. It's lightweight. It's probably half the weight of the M4, especially if you don't have this on the barrel and everything else. Like, it's just a really easy to carry, lightweight gas Bowback, and it has been just unbelievably reliable and accurate, especially if you spend a little bit of money. I'd say stock, it was up close like this, it was fine. But definitely after changing the hop up and the barrel setup, it made it a very viable outdoor kind of play weapon, especially with the high pressure nozzle. I mean, it shoots pretty hard, it's pretty accurate. The hop up works great once you change that. And even with all these extra parts, I still have less money into this than the newer version 3 M4. So overall, been great. It's, like I said, it's light. If I wouldn't have put all this stuff in here and gotten a longer barrel, and look how small that is, it was just a really good compact rifle. Shot good, it worked good. I have no complaints with it. And honestly, the first match I go to, once I do start going to matches again this spring, I'm honestly thinking about just taking this, like, and using this during the main play. I'll probably still take the M4 just to have it out there and get practice with it. But as far as being competitive out on the field, I think this is going to be the better option. It was a cheaper rifle, but I got a little bit more money into it. I got a little bit more time sorting out kind of all the issues with it, and it's just been dead nuts reliable. So once again, if you're interested, if you got any other questions in the comments, just send them to me. I've had this gun a very long time, and it's just been a pleasure to shoot. I'll probably make some more videos with it here in the future. Hell, it's been just sitting up there on the wall for forever, and I just hardly ever shot it. And I just took it apart, gave it a good wipe down, and kind of lubed a couple of points, and it runs rock solid. It's been just as reliable as the day I got it. So hope it helps anybody, and if you have any other questions, I can do more videos on it if you want. If not, that's just kind of a review. I know it's been sitting up on our wall, and I compared a lot of the other rifles and stuff that I have to it, but that's it. That's GHK G5, and thank you very much.